It all started with a cup of tea and a trembling hand. Every morning, Aisha passed the small bench by the park where an old man sat alone, trying to pour tea from his flask with hands that wouldn't stop shaking. Most people walked by without noticing him, but not Aisha. Something about his tired eyes and the quiet sadness in his smile made her stop one day. "Let me help you with that," she had said softly. From that day onward, it became her routine. Rain or shine, she stopped by to share tea with Mr. Saeed. He told her stories about his late wife, his youth, his dreams that never came true. In return, Aisha told him about her struggles, how she was working 2 jobs to pay rent, and how the world sometimes felt too heavy to bear. There was no family visiting him, no friends, just him and his stories. One afternoon, when Aisha brought homemade soup because he hadn't eaten properly for days, Mr. Saeed looked at her and said, "You remind me of my daughter. She would have been your age if she were alive." Tears welled in her eyes. That day, she held his hand a little longer. Months passed. People in the neighborhood began to notice their unlikely friendship. A young woman and an elderly man sharing laughter under the same tree every morning. For Aisha, he became family, the kind she never had. She even began managing his medicines and helping him with groceries. Then, one day, everything changed. It was a bright morning when Aisha knocked on his door as usual, carrying a bag of fresh fruit. But when the door opened, it wasn't Mr. Saeed. It was a tall, well-dressed man surrounded by 2 lawyers. "Can I help you?" he asked coldly. "I'm here to see Mr. Saeed," Aisha stammered. "He's usually Before she could finish, the man cut her off. "I'm his grandson. You can't just walk in here anymore. My grandfather won't be needing your help." The words hit her like ice. She tried to explain about their friendship, the care she provided, the companionship she gave him. But the lawyers handed her a legal notice stating that she was no longer allowed to visit or contact him. Aisha's heart sank. She stood there frozen, clutching the fruit bag as the man turned away. Days went by with no word. The park bench felt empty. The mornings felt silent. Aisha wondered if she had done something wrong, if she had overstepped some invisible line. She missed his stories, his smile, his gentle thank you, beta, until one evening, weeks later, she received a phone call. "Is this Aisha?" a shaky voice whispered. It was Mr. Saeed. He told her the truth. His grandson, Kamal, had only returned because he discovered that Mr. Saeed still owned valuable land and property. Kamal didn't care about his health or happiness, he only cared about inheritance. Mr. Saeed was heartbroken to learn his kindness had become a threat to those who valued wealth over love. That night, Aisha visited him secretly. He was weaker, paler, but still smiling. "My time is near," he whispered, holding her hand. "You gave me peace when the world forgot me. I don't have much, but I've made sure my gratitude reaches you." She tried to protest, but he only smiled again. "Some blessings are not to be rejected, my child." A week later, Mr. Saeed passed away. Aisha wept silently, feeling as if she had lost a piece of her soul. She attended the small funeral, unnoticed by his grandson, who was already busy talking to lawyers again. But fate had its own plans. 2 months later, Aisha received a letter from Mr. Saeed's attorney. Her hands trembled as she opened it, and then tears spilled down her cheeks. The old man had left her a small house, his savings, and a handwritten note. "Greater than you gave me family when I had none. This is not a payment, it's a thank you. Use it to build a life where you can smile again. You reminded me that love still exists in this world." When Kamal found out, he was furious, but the will was legally solid. There was nothing he could do. Aisha didn't boast or celebrate. Instead, she raced toward the house, kept his old chair by the window, and opened a small tea shop in his memory, Saeed's Corner. Every morning, she served free tea to anyone who looked lonely, saying softly, "Everyone deserves to be remembered." As the shop grew popular, people started hearing her story. Some cried, some smiled, and many left inspired, realizing how small acts of kindness can change lives forever. In her heart, Aisha knew she hadn't just helped an old man, she had helped a soul find peace, and that peace came back to her 100-fold. At Why Negation, if this story touched your heart, don't forget to hit like, share it with someone who believes in kindness, and subscribe for more emotional, life-changing stories every week. Sometimes, love doesn't come from blood, it comes from the heart. A currency I diaris Sedilla.